given this information about me, there is no point in asking me to again fill in this data. So this will be pre-filled. Okay. So when I click on that, sorry, 1 second. So that is only one information that is available, and there is no other information that is available in this portal. So this is where at olden days the SSCs would ask, as of now department only knows about this 10,95,000 rupees. So why should I give any other information about how much interest that I received from my SB account, or how much dividend that I've received? How would department know? Okay. So that is where they introduced this system called as AIS. So I would also want to take you through the handbook that was released on annual information system. And if you just zoom into their objectives, they say we are introducing this concept of AIS because we want to achieve these three objects. The first object is display complete information to the taxpayer. See, normally earlier days, the norm was an SSC, even if he had salary income, rental income, as well as business income or other income, he would only declare salary income. He would not declare other incomes. But then department would somehow find it out, and they would send a scrutiny notice, followed with the show cause notice, followed with the order. Okay. So it was more of a post-mortem. Once you file your income tax return, and then they would analyze it, and then they would serve the notice. But here, they are not allowing you to even file your return. Before even you file your return, they are telling you not only your salary that we know, we also know about all the other transactions. So a taxpayer would know about what details about him is already with the income tax department. That is the first thing. Second thing is to promote voluntary compliance. Okay. So once you already know that department knows that you're receiving rent, you're receiving bank interest, people would come forward and start voluntarily complying with the same. And also it enables seamless pre-filing of the return. So they pre-fill your return with all the details. So if you're just having salary income, if you're just filling off your ITR1, then you don't have to even know income tax. You just go on clicking next, and your income tax return would be filed. And also the third objective would be deter non-compliance. That is, if somebody does not want to pay, then when he already knows the department knows about him, then he'd be more comfortable in complying with the law. Okay. Now they are saying that, what new data that we are going to capture in our AIS, they would say all interest related information, dividend related information, all security transactions. Okay. How much was your sale of shares, or your mutual fund transactions, foreign remittance if you do. Okay, all this data will be captured under your AIS. Sometimes some places you may not give PAN. Okay, instead of giving PAN, you would just give Aadhaar and come. Okay, so in that situation, government has a back-end data analytics. Okay, let us say that you want to purchase jewelry worth rupees 5 lakh, and you're not going to give your PAN card, but if you say that you're only going to give your Aadhaar card, then your jeweler would provide that information to the income tax department, and on the basis of your Aadhaar card, they would generate the PAN number, and they will still show you, even if you have given your Aadhaar card number, this is the transaction that is pertaining to you. Okay, so these are the basic objectives of what AIS is. Now, how many transactions are basically covered under AIS? If you see, let me just take you through here. Yes. So generally, your salary related information will be there, rent received information, dividend information, the SB interest that you receive, your FD interest, other interest on income tax refund. So there are around 50 types of transactions that are already captured in your AIS. So I urge all the faculties here, or all the members here, that once after this session, please go through this AIS, the AIS handbook, to get a bird's eye picture of what exactly government is planning to do. Now, so if I'm going to come back to my income tax portal, I already saw what is my 26 AS. So if I'm going to come and see how does my AIS look like, I have to come to the services tab. Under services tab, I have to go to something called as annual information system. Okay, that is under my services tab. So I click on annual information system. Again, they will say that we are going to redirect you to another page. I would say, all right, proceed further. So once I'm proceeding, they talk about uh, you know AIS information is something that is presently available with the department. Okay, so now there is again a myth amongst some of the taxpayer is that if it is there in AIS only then I have to pay the tax. If it is not there in AIS, I don't have to pay the tax. That is one approach. Another approach would be, if it is there in AIS, even if it is not my income, I have to pay the tax. No, you have to pay tax on your actual income only. So AIS will have only present information. Okay, so it may so happen that your employer would have given you the salary, and yesterday income tax return form was released. So if you want to go today and file your return for the quarter 4 TDS return, your employer may not have filed yet. So for the quarter 4, your salary details may not appear in your AIS. So it does not mean that you don't have to pay tax for that last 3 months of salary. You have to. So you have to either wait till that happens, or else you have to declare the correct picture. Okay, so this is a disclaimer what they have. Now let us go and access our AIS. How do I access it? Next to instruction button, there is this another button called as AIS. So once I click on AIS, as I told you, there are two transactions. One is tax information summary, and one is annual information system. So if I'm going to click on tax information summary, this will talk about what income details will be pre-filled in my return. Okay. So as of now, they are saying you have made two transactions that attracts tax. One is you have a salary income. One more is that you have dealt in mutual funds. So these two transactions that we know of that are related to your taxation. Okay, so now once I click on my salary here, okay, so it says it is the same amount. If you see, it is the same amount that is appearing in my 26As. It says there is a salary of around 10,95,000 rupees 638. Sometimes it may so happen that amount in 26As may not match here, okay, because of some technical glitch that is there. But the underlying, the gold and the thumb rule is you have to declare what is correct. Okay, so here look at the amount of information that is captured in this EIS. If you go ahead and click on that particular salary, it says this 10 lakh rupees of salary is not for whole 12 months. It is only for 9 months. I told you that the due date to file TDS return for the quarter 4 is not 31st of March. There is still time of one more month for them to file it. So because of that, as of now, only 9 months salary is visible. So that does not mean that my salary is 10 lakh rupees. It could be another 3-4 lakh rupees. Okay. So, but if I click on that, it will say that this is your month-wise salary for the month of January 23. Salary was around 1,21,000, December, November. So now sometimes it may so happen, okay, sometimes it may so happen that you don't agree with certain things. Okay, instead of salary, think that here they are saying that you have received interest worth rupees 2 lakhs. Okay, before 2-3 years it happened with Canara Bank when that bank merger was going on, Canara Bank and Syndicate Bank. So there was a lot of duplication data was sent by the banks to the income tax department. So even if my interest was around 20,000 rupees, it would appear here as 40,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees. Now, what is it I am supposed to do? See, it is on the right hand side, there is an option for you to give the feedback. Now, again, this feedback is optional. Even if you don't give it, nothing is going to happen. But if you disagree, okay, if you disagree, it is always better that you go ahead and you say you disagree. Okay. For example, imagine that my salary for this month was not 1,21,000 rupees. Okay. It could be I could have received some promotion and it could have become 1,50,000 rupees. So at that time, I would come here and I would give a feedback. I would say here, I would click on this. Okay. And then I would say for this, that is the January month salary that what I've received, I disagree with that. And now they will say, what is the reason for disagree? Okay. So I will choose the feedback type. I have these options. Okay. Option number 1 is to say this information is correct. If information is correct, you don't even have to respond. You may say that this income is not taxable, but the portal wrongly has treated it as a taxable income. You can say that. Or information is not fully correct. Okay. So maybe that, I have received this amount, but it is not fully correct. Okay, it could be that the date of payment is not 6th of January, it was 8th of January, it could be anything. Okay, I may say it is not fully correct, or information relates to other PAN or other year. I may have two different sister entities, so this is not pertaining to this sister entity, another sister entity, or it is prevalent to the previous year. Or I may say this information is duplicate. If it is multiple times, if it has come, I can say it is duplicate. Or if I don't want to agree, I may say that information is denied. And once I deny this information, I can go ahead and I can submit this, and a acknowledgement, I'll receive the acknowledgement saying that we have received your denial. Now the moment I deny it, a intimation will be sent to my employer stating that your employee has denied this particular thing, do you have anything to say for this? So this is how the whole infrastructure, the tech infrastructure of AIS and TIS is functioning. So I invite all the members here, after today's session, log into your income tax portal and check, and if certain informations do not belong to you, go ahead and give the proper feedback. Okay, but before giving the feedback, discuss with the other person as to why this information is appearing. So if bank has shown more interest, first discuss with the bank and then go ahead and reject certain things. Next, here this my specified financial transactions. So I have purchased some mutual funds that are appearing here, and if I'm if I want to claim ATC deductions, then these are the information that are readily available. Look at the details that comes here. So here they say I have purchased some securities and mutual funds, and next they are using a code word, something called as SFT 18. So now what is the relevance of that term? What is this SFT 18, SFT 17, SFT 16? Where is that number coming from? I will take you through that as well. There is a description. They are saying that this is a purchase of mutual fund that I have done. And then they're talking about it is coming from a computer age management system, that is CAG Limited, Tata Asset Management Private Limited. There are 3 times that I have purchased. That they're also showing that this is 3,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, that investment that I have made, total 8,000 rupees of investment that I have made. And here also I can come and give the feedback saying that do I agree with this or do I not agree with this. Now if you don't want to agree with any of these things, instead of coming to each, let us say that you have not dealt you have not purchased any of these things, so there are hundreds of these items and you don't want to agree. Okay, so sometimes it happens if you're dealing in stock market, because of some syncing errors, the exchanges would send somebody else's data to you. So there will be thousands of line item, and you can't go to each line item and say that disagree. So there is also an option to give a bulk feedback, and you can select everything and you can continue and you can go ahead and give the information saying that information is denied or any other aspect. Okay, so this is as far as our TIS is concerned. Okay, I'm going to cancel this. Let me come down to my, 1 second. Okay, so this was my TIS. So if I'm going to come to my AIS, okay, again, if I'm going to come to my AIS, this is the salary related information. This is the SFT related information that we saw. And if I have made any payment of taxes, the tax information would be here. Now again, not the TDS information. If I'm going to pay some self-assessment tax, advance tax, all these things would appear here. And if there is a refund that I have received, all my refund related issue, I can see here that for the last year I've received 11,400 of refund. And demand, if there is a demand, as of now this is not active. This demand information will be available in future only. So as on date, this is not active. But in future, if you have to pay some tax and the department has raised some demand, it will appear here only. Then if there is some other information about you, okay. For example, if you have received some rent, okay, so who has paid you that rent? So all this information would appear here. Okay, so this is about your AIS as well as TIS, and you can download it here also. Okay, there is a download button and you can download in either PDF format or in your JSON format. Now, so if there is any queries, I would want to take it up. Okay, are there any queries?
Can I ask a question, Anwesh?
Now, why am I giving? Because session is not over yet. It is only the practical demonstration part. If there is any questions, you can ask. If technically that, what does those code mean, what has to go in AS, what has to go under SFT and all, I'll be taking you through particular rule and I'll be explaining what are the things that we have to keep in mind. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
See, I have my AIS and TCS in my hand, and I was just going through that. The count, as you rightfully said, it's only for 3 quarters right now.
Yes.
Now, as you said, in case of that SFT, it speaks about purchase of mutual funds and whatever the title that is given. What if there is a sale? I believe I have not done sale because the financial planner will be in a better position to say. Will that sale of mutual funds also appear in this?
Yes. Sale of mutual fund will appear in this. Sale of shares will appear in this. Every single thing. So I'll take you through what and all information will come in SFT. So there are around 50 transactions that I showed you earlier.
Okay.
Those are the transactions that will appear in this thing. But for some transaction, there is a threshold limit. Only if it is beyond that, it will be reported. If it is lesser than that, it won't be reported.
Okay. And one more thing is regarding this interest. See, normally what happens is many of the people don't believe in showing interest on SB account.
Yes.
So when the salary goes to an account, definitely there is interest. Now, if I have got around 6, 7, 8, 9 bank accounts, obviously little by little, 250 every quarter or half yearly, some 400 credited year. All that consolidated amount, do you think will appear in AIS or TCS?
Ideally, as far as the current the policy is concerned, it must appear because they have changed. Earlier, it was more than 5,000 rupees was supposed to be reported.
Okay.
Last, they made a recent change which says anything above 0 has to be reported.
Okay.
So even
because
if
it is surprised that it is not showing anywhere. That's what I'm just.
Because government makes changes, but at the same time, banking software also should be well equipped to handle that amount of load. So it will take time. Okay. But what happens is if you don't report it today, the banking infrastructure may be ready in 1 year. So when they send it, they will send for the last year also.
Correct.
So then department has 10 years to send you the notice. Obviously, 10 years to, in the case of more than 50 lakh rupees of suppression.
2
but
years.
At least 3 years they have to say, they have time to send you the notice.
Okay. Yes, good. All clear.
Okay. Yes, sir. So now let us come back to our as a tax teachers, tax professionals, we have to understand from the law itself as to what exactly is section 285A says, what does the rule says, what has to be disclosed. These are the things that we have to look into. But again, I'll not be going very in depth because it would require 2-3 hours of discussion. So I'd be taking you through only the relevant portions. So the first question comes is, who has to report under SFT? I told at the initial stage that you have to fill something called as Form 61A. So should I be filling that Form 61A, or should you as teachers be filling, or whether it is mandatory for the school to fill that SFT? Okay. So there is this 285A where they say obligation to furnish this the statement of financial transactions. Okay. So now here they are casting responsibility on. If you see, any person being, if you are an SSC, they can ask you to furnish this SFT. If you are a prescribed person in the case of an office of government, if you are a government officer, they can ask you to come and furnish details under SFT. If you are a local authority, they can ask you. So if you are a registrar or a sub-registrar, so normally what happens is I sell a land, and we all know that if the land value, if it is more than 50 lakh rupees, then the TDS has to be deducted at rate of 1% under section 194 IA. Okay. But what if the land value is just 40 lakh rupees? My buyer will not deduct TDS. So when this TDS is not deducted, I may have an opinion stating that government will not get to know. The answer is not that way. So it is not only for the buyer and the seller, the department can even ask the sub-registrar to furnish details. Now here they have asked if the value of the land, if it is more than 30 lakh rupees, then the sub-registrar has to furnish these details to the income tax department. So every time you buy or you sell the property, the information will go to income tax department. A registering authority for motor vehicles. Okay, so every time you are buying a motor vehicle, okay, particularly an expensive motor vehicle, okay, of worth more than 10 lakh rupees, the details will go to income tax department. Okay, next they can also compel postmaster. Okay, if you are having your SB account, RD account in the post office, they can even compel the postmaster to furnish this SFT. At the same time, if your land is compulsorily acquired by the government, okay, under right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition act, okay, if they acquire it compulsorily, the collector who has the power to purchase your land forcefully, even they can compel him to give your information. And if you're dealing in stock exchanges, they can ask your all the stock exchanges to give your information. They can also ask the officer of RBI, that is, all the bank employees are called as officers of Reserve Bank of India. Even the income tax department can compel RBI employees, the bank employees, to give information. A depository referred to under this again pertains to your stock market. Okay, the depositories who hold license by SEBI, they are also supposed to give this information. Not only this, they can also prescribe some other financial institutions. They can say some insurance company. They can say you have to give information. Some NBFCs which are not covered above, they can say we are going to prescribe your name from tomorrow onwards. Even you are supposed to give the information. Okay, and then they say a person other than those. So government is scared that we may have left some names. So they are saying we want power to prescribe some other name, and even they should give this information to us. Okay, so these are the persons who are supposed to give SFT related transaction. But again, what do you mean by this transaction? Whether all transaction they are supposed to give? They are saying transaction could be a transaction of purchase, it could be a sale, or it could be exchange of goods or of property or right, all these details. If it is rendering of services, then also you're supposed to give details. If you're providing works contract, all this, like, even if you're making an investment. Okay, so we have seen, I've shown you in the TIS, there was a purchase of a mutual fund. So it was not, I just made a investment, even that has to be reported. Transaction of taking or accepting any loan or deposit. Okay, so they are basically saying these many transactions may come under your specified financial transaction. But then comes the question. So if you are going to draw 100 rupees from your bank account, is it required for the bank to report this transaction to income tax department? Then you think there are crores of SSCs. What transaction to be reported? What transactions not to be reported? Okay. So because of that, in the department told we don't want all the transactions. We are going to specify what transactions that we want. So that is dealt under something called as Rule 114E of income tax rules. Okay, so here they're talking about these are the list of the transaction. Okay, so I'd be taking you through some of the list. Okay, some very very popular which may concern us. Those are the things I'm going to take you through.
Just,
So now,
Anwesh, just one.
yes,
Is it possible to get access to this anywhere on the site?
yes, definitely it is. So this, for the benefit of all the faculties, I want to show how to access this also. So you just have to do Income Tax Act. So the first link that comes, that is the most updated income tax that is available. So if I want to just see 114E rule, so this is the act that is visible, that is Income Tax Act. I don't want act, what I want is rule. So I have to do tax laws and rules here, then click on rules button on the right side here. And there the first option that appears, that is income tax rules, I have to click on that. So this is now income tax rules that is appear, and I have to just type the rule number, that is 114E, enter. And if I search, the rule will be appearing. Okay, so these are all the transactions on which the SFT has to be reported. Okay. Now, because it is all small fonts, that is where I'm opening in another website. Otherwise, all informations are exactly similar. Okay. So here the first they are talking about, here they are saying it is serial number 1, nature and value of the transaction. Okay, so they are talking about value also. Only above it is that value you are supposed to report, and class of person who has to report it. Okay, now first they are talking about, okay, read this line. It says, if your payment made in cash for purchase of bank draft or pay orders or a banker's check of an amount aggregating to 10 lakh rupees or more in a financial year, that means Now again, this is only for cash, payment made in cash. So if you're going to bank and if you're going to purchase a DD, okay, and you can actually make payment in cash and get a DD. So if you're paying more than 10 lakh rupees, okay, so aggregating, so you have to aggregate it. So every month you're going and paying 1 lakh rupees and getting a DD. So for the whole year, it becomes 12 lakh in cash. So then banker has to report you. Now who has to report? On the right hand side, they've told a banking company has to report you, or a cooperative bank to which Banking Regulation Act applies. Okay. Now again, so then cooperative societies don't come under this. But again, there is a question as to whether cooperative societies can give you a DD. Okay. So now banking company and a cooperative bank will have to report you only if it is more than 10 lakh rupees. So if it is 9 lakh rupees, no information. But if you do it 12 lakh rupees, they will report in SFT in Form 68 and it will come in your AIS. Okay. Second transaction, they are saying instead of DD, if you purchase any prepaid instruments. So we know that traveler's check, if I want to go abroad, I would go here and I would pay the amount and get a prepaid card. So if I'm going to buy any prepaid cards by paying more than 10 lakh rupees of cash, again, this transaction will be reported. Okay. Or this is more deadly one, the C. If I'm making cash deposits or cash withdrawals, okay, aggregate into 50 lakh rupees or more in a financial year from one or more current accounts. So if I'm having current account and to that, if I'm depositing more than 50 lakh rupees or withdrawing more than 50 lakh rupees in a financial year, then the banker has to report me. Now it could be from only one current account or it could be from different current accounts held under the same bank. The banker has to report it to me. Now you may have a question, what if I have one bank account in Canara Bank and another bank account in Union Bank? Then the banker may not know. Okay, so it is per bank we have to do the aggregation or else the bankers will not know. Okay, so it is for current account, it is 50 lakh rupees. You may have a question, what about SB? Because most of us have SB with us. So it is, if there is a cash deposit of more than 10 lakh rupees to our account, then SB account also they have to report. Okay, so now it is not only the bank, even for the post office it is mandatory. Okay, even the postmaster has to report it to the department. So the next one is if you're having fixed deposits. Okay, so if you're having more of time deposits of more than 10 lakh rupees per year, okay, of a person aggregating to 10 lakh rupees, then they have to report. Then comes a question, you may have an FD, you have kept one FD of 6 lakh rupees, okay, for 6 months and it got matured, you again you renewed it. So now does it mean that it is an FD of 12 lakh rupees for the whole year? They say no. It is other than time deposit made through renewal or of another time deposit, that will not consider. It has to be a fresh FD. If you are doing, it will come. Please bear in mind, they are not talking about it has to be a cash deposit and an FD. It could be a bank transfer and an FD that you are creating, and then the banker has to report. Not only banker, even the postmaster has to report. The Nidhi company also has to report, and NBFCs also have to report this transaction. Okay. Next one is, if you have a credit card, okay, if you have a credit card and you have a bill, okay, let us say that I purchased one computer using my credit card for 1.5 lakh rupees. Now to pay this credit card company, I deposited in cash. Okay, so if it is deposit in cash of more than 1 lakh rupees, the credit card company has to report. Or if I am for the whole year, if I'm swiping for more than 10 lakh rupees, I may pay through bank only. But if I'm swiping for more than 10 lakh rupees, department will get to know. Okay. So this is as far as these are the most relevant transactions that come to us. And here now there are some transactions that we don't normally use in our real life, for example, or in day-to-day life at least. If a company is raising funds through issue of bonds, and if I purchase the bonds worth rupees more than 10 lakh rupees, okay, then the company has to report, or the institution which is issuing the debenture has to report. Normally we may not come across this, but if you are if there is a company that is issuing shares, okay, it is issuing shares, not purchase and sale of shares in the stock market. It is a fresh issue happening from the company only. And if you're investing more than 10 lakh rupees, then a company issuing the shares must report about you, saying that this person has purchased more than 10 lakh rupees to the income tax department. Then there is buyback related information, which I'm going to skip through because we may not come across it in the day-to-day life. But as a tax faculties, I urge you to go through this particular rule. I will take you through. Okay, if you purchase a foreign currency, okay, for example, you are in India and you have a dependent or a child studying abroad, and you are making payment there. So you want to purchase or sell a foreign currency. So in that situation, if it is for more than 10 lakh rupees, the authorized person, whoever is doing this purchase and sale of foreign currencies, he will report you to the income tax department. Now, previously, if you remember, I told you that registrar of the company, I told you that if the value of the property is more than 30 lakh rupees, okay, it could be the real property value of 30 lakh rupees, or the stamp duty value is 30 lakh rupees, but you are purchasing for 25 lakh rupees. Even then, he will report it because stamp duty value is 30 lakhs. Okay. Now, this is one of the most deadlier provision that you must be aware. So they have amended income tax law, and they say that you should not pay cash for one transaction more than 2 lakh rupees. Okay, it should be one transaction or one event more than 2 lakh rupees. Let me give an example. Let us say that you are getting married and you are having an event organizer. Okay, so now he may be doing, on the day there is a wedding, next day there could be a reception followed by some other party. So it could be 3 different functions, but it is one event of marriage. So now he may give you a bill of 5 lakh rupees. So if you are going to give 5 lakh in cash, anything more than 2 lakh rupees in cash, then he has to report you to the income tax department. But again, not everybody, they said he has to report only if he is liable to get his accounts audited under section 44AB. That means if his turnover is more than 1 crore rupees, if it's a company, or if it is more than 2 crore rupees in other cases, they have to mandatorily report you to the department. So be very, very mindful while purchasing any, computers, laptop, the value of which is more than 2 lakh rupees, furniture, interior designing. You are not supposed to pay in cash. If you pay in cash, it is obligation on somebody else to report you to the government. Okay. And this is our classic demonetization time. Okay. So from the period of 9th April to 30th December, if you have deposited more than 12,50,000 rupees in your current account, or more than 2,50,000 rupees in your SB account, then the banking company as well as the postmaster has to report you. Okay. Then they're saying, okay, you qualify under this. Let us say you put 3 lakh rupees to your SB account. Okay. Cash deposit that you have made of 3 lakh rupees. Then government will also ask of you details from 1st April to 9th November. See, because government wants to know. So if you are going to take a stand and you say that this is normally your business cash that you're depositing, they would want to do the analytics of from April to November how much you have put. If you have not put even 1 rupee from April to November, and suddenly you're going dumping 10 lakh rupees and saying this is my business money, the department may not agree. But this is only period specific up to that period. Okay, so this is basic person based transaction that they see. And again, what information will come in your TIS? Okay, that also is here. They say it is for the stock exchange. They have to give report about your capital gains, okay, on transfer of your listed securities, which includes your shares, bonds, also your mutual fund. The department will receive. If any company is giving you dividend, the company has to report your income to the income tax department. Here they are not giving any monetary limit. Even if it is 10 rupees, they are going to report it. Here, if it is interest income, earlier they had put that 5,000 rupees of slab, but now they have removed it. So all the banking companies and all the NBFC companies or the post, whichever is giving you interest, invariably they are supposed to declare your income to the income tax department. Okay, so these are the details that will come in your SFTs. Okay, so the final aspect that I want to take is, so here, some are person based reportings. So now when you see this is the code for every type of reporting. For example, if you're going to purchase DD in cash, now you know that it is not for all types of DD. If it is depot of more than 10 lakh rupees, they have to report. The bank has to report under a code called as SFT001. It will come and sit in your AIS. Okay. If you are purchasing a prepaid instrument, code is 002. If the time deposit is more than 10 lakh rupees, code is 005. If you make a payment of credit card of more than 1 lakh in cash or 10 lakh for the whole year, then it is 006. If you purchase debenture more than 10 lakh rupees, if you purchase shares, that is fresh shares, not purchased from the stock market, it is SFT 008. Okay, and if you pay more than 2 lakh rupees in cash, then it is SFT 013. Then there is account based reporting, that is if you deposit more than 50 lakh rupees of cash in your current account, then it is SFT 003. If you deposit more than 10 lakh rupees in cash for your SB account, it is SFT 004. And demonetization transaction, most of the notices are received for this SFT 014 if you have deposited more than 2,50,000 in SB account and 12,50,000 in your current account. And finally, immovable property details, the registrar has to furnish under SFT 012 if the value is more than 30 lakh rupees. Yes, we have come to the very end of our presentation. So if you have any questions, you are free to ask now.
In that SFT 18, I think purchase of mutual funds was not shown, I think.
No, there are, this list is getting updated, sir. That is a recent one that is not included. There, the list goes on. There are 50 types of transaction.
Okay.
I've taken the most relevant ones. Yes.
Okay.
Please feel free to ask any questions. We still have 360 seconds. I'll be more than happy.
I think in the chat box.
All right. Let me just go and look into the chat box. If I take loan of about 10 lakh rupees and give someone, should I show while filing? If you have taken loan, it will not come. It will not come for the simple reason that it is not a... Now again, the question is, how did you give this loan? See, if you say you have taken loan, two possibilities. You have taken loan from the bank in white. Whenever I say in white, it is through the banking channel. You have also given loan in white. No need to declare. Okay, you don't have to declare while filing if you are coming in ITR 1, that is only salary return. But if it is a business return that you are filing ITR 3, ITR 4, if you are going to do it, then while preparing, uploading your books, you have to show loan received, loan given. But if you are taking the loan in cash, and if you're giving loan in cash, it is more of a problem. AIS is not your problem. Your problem is there is section 269 SS and 269T, which says if you're taking loan about 20,000 rupees in cash, then 100% amount becomes the penalty. So if you take 10 lakh rupees, whole 10 lakh rupees becomes the penalty. Okay. So or else if it is in banking channels, you don't have to report. It will not be reported. It will not come, sir. If you take loan and give it to somebody, it will not come because it does not fit under those criteria. It is not a withdrawal that you have done. You have taken the loan and giving to somebody. Everything is in white. But if you do it in cash, then there is some issues. It will be reported.
Can I ask you a question, Anwesh?
Yes, sir, please.
Now I'm just going through my, TIS. And in the information category, it is showing as, receipt of fees for professional or technical services, section 194J.
Yes.
Which is very common.
Yes.
But then the heading given there is a business receipt.
No, that is for all the PGBP income, they show it as business receipts only.
Okay.
It is a standard nomenclature that they use. But the moment they put it as 194J, invariably you have to declare it as a professional income. You can't declare it as a business income. An error message will pop up.
Okay. Now, because the word business receipt, when it says, then I think I will have to go through ITR 3 or 4, right?
Yes, because it is not just your salary income. See, ITR 1 would be salary. Your salary plus your house property and all will go under ITR 2. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're having business income, then definitely you're coming under ITR 3.
But I think till last year before, the focus of this deduction of professional services, that 194J, we showed it as under other sources only, not as business income. And we filed ITR 1 itself. Was that a mistake? Because...
Sir, department will not send you notice because you have declared full amount as your income. You are not claimed any expenditure. Declare it under 194J, claim 50% deduction.
Claim?
50% deduction, presumptive, 44 ADA.
Okay.
So as long as they are benefiting, they will never send you notice.
Okay. All right, good.
Yes. Now again, I understand this is streamed on YouTube as well. So that is just an academic suggestion, nothing else. Is there any questions? Okay, I see no questions. Yes. Sir, are we permitting people to unmute themselves and ask questions?
Yeah, anyone can unmute and ask.
Okay, because I see some.
Sharmila madam is raising her hand, so if she has a question, she can unmute and ask.
Yes. Okay, I see there are no questions. Thank you again for providing this wonderful opportunity. Over to you, Manoj sir.
Thank you, sir. It was indeed a very informative and knowledgeable session. I now request Professor Flavita Lewis, Department of Commerce, Padua College of Commerce and Management, to propose the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to all the dignitaries and all the participants. It gives me joy to tell thanks to all the special people who gathered for this virtual meet. I would like to thank our resource person, CA Anwesh Shetty, for imparting valuable and informative knowledge to all our delegates. Sir, we have truly gained an in-depth knowledge on today's topic, issues on direct tax. So we are grateful for the session and also for the wealth of knowledge you shared with us. Thank you, sir. I would like to place on record my deepest gratitude to Reverend Father Michael Santamayo, Principal of the Milagres College, Reverend Father Arun Wilson Lobo, Principal of Padua College of Commerce and Management, and Dr. Shivarama P., Principal of GFGC Kavoor, for initiating this enlightening FDP. Thank you all. A lot of efforts have been put forth to organize this session, and I would like to remember and thank them for their efforts. Mr. Cassin Rodriguez, Vice Principal of Milagres College, Professor Roshan Santamayo, Vice Principal of Padua College of Commerce and Management, and Professor Manoj Luis, Assistant Professor, GFGC Kavoor, and General Secretary of Mukta. Thank you, sir. I thank all the delegates for your active and enthusiastic participation. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. The feedback link is already posted in the chat box. I please request all the participants to fill your feedback for the attendance. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. See you, Anwesh. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.